बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। नाजरीन, जो ईरान की वार है वो आज मेरा 36 डे में जा चुकी है और इसकी जो कास्ट है दिन ब दिन बढ़ती जा रही है। मसलन शुरू में जब वार हुई थी तो ये बात हो रही थी कि शायद 1 बिलियन पर डे की कास्ट आ रही है यूएसए को। अब जो वक्त के साथ साथ हम उनकी जो कैजुअलिटी देखते हैं या उनके जो डिस्ट्रक्शन देखते हैं, उनके वेपन्स की या उनका यूज़ ऑफ जो उनका वेपन है, तो मुझे लगता है ये कास्ट बढ़ती जा रही है। ये सिर्फ अमेरिका के लिए कास्ट नहीं बढ़ती जा रही, पूरी दुनिया के लिए कास्ट बढ़ती जा रही है। क्योंकि स्ट्रेट ऑफ हार्मोज को हम देखें तो वहाँ पर जब आयल की जो बंदिश हुई है, यानी कि इसकी जो एनर्जी की जो कि गुजरने की बंदिश हुई है, उससे पूरी दुनिया में एनर्जी के क्राइसिस का एक बहुत बड़ा खदशा पैदा हो गया है। बल्कि कई ममालिक तो सफ़र करना भी शुरू हो गए हैं और जो सबसे पहली जो विक्टिम क्लास होती है वो आम लोग होते हैं, क्योंकि प्राइसेस बढ़ना शुरू हो जाती हैं। अभी भी एनर्जी की प्राइसेस बढ़ना शुरू हो गई हैं। इस सारे कंटेक्स्ट में पाकिस्तान ये कोशिश कर रहा है कि किसी तरह ये मामला जो सुलझ जाए। पाकिस्तान मेडिएशन करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, पाकिस्तान तमाम रीजनल कंट्रीज से बात कर रहा है, पाकिस्तान ईरान से बात कर रहा है, पाकिस्तान यूएसए से बात कर रहा है। और इसी सारी यानी कि काविशों के नतीजे में ये हुआ कि अभी हम देखा कि लास्ट वीक हम 3 जो कि फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स थे, यानी तुर्की के, सऊदी अरेबिया के और इजिप्ट के, वो पाकिस्तान में थे। और पाकिस्तान के जो वज़ीर ख़ारजा थे वो बार बार ईरान के वज़ीर ख़ारजा से भी बात कर रहे थे। और उसके फ़ौरन बाद हमारे जो कि वज़ीर ख़ारजा जो कि डिप्टी प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं वो चाइना भी चले गए। अब यहाँ पर 2 मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की यानी कि जो कंस्पिरेसी थ्योरीज़ पैदा हुई। एक ये कहा गया कि जनाब ईरान ने कहा कि हमें ग्रांटर चाहिए, तो इसलिए चाइना को ग्रांटर के बनने के कन्विंस करने के लिए हमारे वज़ीर ख़ारजा वहाँ पर हैं। और दूसरी जो थ्योरी थी उसका तो यानी कि कोई बिल्कुल बेतुकी थी, मगर मार्केट में वो बड़ी बिकी कि चाइना ने पाकिस्तान को समन किया है कि आप आएँ इधर और तालिबान से बात करें। तो इसी कंटेक्स्ट में हमने ये प्रोग्राम डिज़ाइन किया है कि when Mr. Hagdar visited China, so what was the agenda? So what he discussed there? Why either he was discussing there the peace mediation process, or he was discussing there this Taliban issue, or he was discussing there about the bilateral relations and what would be impact on this mediation and the bilateral relation of this visit. In this context, we have invited 2 very important guests. One is Ambassador Masood Khalid, very well known person. He is very well known for his very rational and objective analysis. He also served in China for many years, especially when the CPEC coming into the force. And we have another guest, Professor Chao Rong. He is a professor at the Renmin University in the Beijing. On the other note, he also stayed here in Pakistan for around about 10 years. And he was dealing with the media also, and he had a wider view, not only of the Pakistan, but of the region. So welcome to the show to both of my guests. So start, Ambassador Khalid, I will start with you. When you look the visit of Mr. Hagdar to China, what do you think, what would be the agenda of that visit? As I described in my opening remarks, so there are different conspiracy theories. So in this context, how do you see this visit?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I'm very glad that our old friend, Professor Chao Rong, is there. So hello to him also, ni hao. I think we have to see this visit in its proper context and in its proper background. And the background is that if you look at Pakistan-China relations, we have a tradition of close communication and coordination on all important issues.
Yes.
And this has been a long-held tradition. So whenever some important event or important development takes place, we take into confidence each other, and then share our views and listen to our friends also, our interlocutor also. So it was in this context.
If you allow me, sir, I will add one thing here. In the action plan 2025, there is a clearly written, so both countries will coordinate their position in timely manner, as you are saying,
yes,
as you are describing.
Yes. So what happened was, it was logical for a Deputy Prime Minister to visit China, to brief Mr. Wang Yi as to what the developments are, what the Pakistan role is, because Pakistan has been proactively engaged in this diplomacy, behind the scene diplomacy, to create some kind of environment for peace in the Middle East, right?
Yes.
So this has been going on for 3 or 4 weeks. And about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, there was first meeting in Riyadh of the four foreign ministers. And then there was this follow-up meeting in Islamabad, which was quite, in a way, important development. So immediately after that, Mr. Dar decided that he should go and brief Chinese. Of course, Mr. Wang Yi invited him to come over because we wanted to have this, mutual exchange. So he went there and he briefed for Mr. Wang Yi, and then you saw this 5-point roadmap,
Yeah.
which they issued.
Yes.
Which I think is a very constructive development, very important points, and if implemented today, we can see peace in Middle East tomorrow.
And how do
So
you
this
see
was
that those conspiracy theories which I described? Somebody was saying Mr. Sagdar was summoned, that is very undiplomatic word, and somebody was saying so they were trying to convince China to become a grantor.
No, okay, I'm coming to that. First of all, in interstate relations, nobody summons, and we are friendly countries. It's not like that. So I think it's a wrong choice of words, first of all.
Yes.
And if, for example, tomorrow, if Foreign Minister Wang Yi wishes to visit Pakistan, we will welcome him, right?
Yes.
Similarly, if our Foreign Minister wants to visit China on an important visit, Chinese leaders, Chinese leadership, Chinese Foreign Minister will welcome us.
Yes.
So it is a wrong, sort of conclusion to draw. And I totally, completely reject it.
Okay, sir, I will come back to you. If you want to say something? Yeah, please.
No, I was coming to that guarantor thing if you have time.
Yes, please. I will come back to you again because we also have to include Professor Chaurong in this discussion.
Okay.
So, Professor, you were listening. So, what the Ambassador Khalid was saying, he was talking about the importance of this visit. How the Chinese friend look at this visit? So, because I also described these two words when the visit was happening, so some conspiracy theories were in the market. They were saying, so China is summoning Pakistan, or China is becoming or not becoming the grantor. How our Chinese friend is looking at this visit?
Thank you for having me for this dialogue program. And I'm very delighted. It's my honor just to have a dialogue, joint dialogue together. Program with Ambassador Khalid Rahman, with Ambassador Khalid
Masood.
Khalid Masood.
Yes.
Whom I have already got acquaintance and established friendship for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm very nice just to have him to be together with him.
Thank you.
And I think that is I fully agree to Mr. Khalid, Ambassador Khalid's point of view. That is, whenever there is a Pakistani foreign minister and wanted to visit China, China will fully welcome whenever they want to come. I think that we can overcome a lot of procedures. Coming and going, I mean, the foreign minister from China going to Pakistan and the foreign minister from Pakistan coming to China will be a very easy process, very easy procedure, you see. But what I would like to stress here, that we both countries share common goal of restoring regional stability, safeguarding sovereignty, and upholding multilateralism. But we differ in our roles, specific mediation methods, and the emphasis on defense and security. The harmony is the shared vision for peace and the foundation for cooperation. That is a 5-point initiative jointly released by China and Pakistan, reflect the core consensus reached by both sides. Thank you.
Okay, so when somebody was talking about Professor, so they were saying so Pakistan was there to convince that China to become a grantor. Do you think something has been happened like that? Pakistan spoke there, or China has replied on that?
You ask me?
Yes.
So the question is.
So did Pakistan ask China to become a grantor in the peace mediation between Iran and USA?
Yeah, that's really very good question. Pakistan has a lot of advantage over China because Pakistan has a very intimate relationship with both with Iran, with Turkey, with Saudi Arabia, with UAE, and with Egypt. And I don't really think China has such kind of advantage. For Pakistan, it's on the front line to do the mediator. For China, it's something like a strategic supporter because China is we can regard China as a global power, so they can do a lot of help. And also, since what we say that our opinions on the addressing the current crisis are almost the same. So in this case, China will fully support almost all the point of views of Pakistan. But there's a difference. But we can say one thing which is very important. Let me show my idea. I think that it's from Washington. No matter how much China and Pakistan do, we can just establish certain kind of norm, standards, and the way, principle. We can do that. But whether American can accept that or not, we are not sure. But another thing which Pakistan has an advantage over China is that Pakistan currently maintain quite good relationship with the United States, which to certain degrees, I do not know whether Trump listened to Pakistan point of view, but anyway, he is happy with what Pakistan is conducting.
Okay.
That in this case, so that is also Pakistan advantage, which China does not has.
Okay, I will come back.
Pakistan, let me finish.
Okay.
If Pakistan relations with China so intimate, and that is if all with the time Pakistan China have the initiative peace agreement, then United States may not be very happy because they like Pakistan proposal, they don't like the joint proposal by China and Pakistan. Thank you.
Okay, Ambassador Khalid, you must listen this as the Professor Chow was talking about. The same question which I was asking you, and we have to come back, I have to go to the Professor Chong. So, but again, the same question. So how do you see this statement, so that Pakistan was there to seek the guarantee from China?
No, I think China would not like to be a guarantor because this is not something like China's role, which it played, very effectively to bring Saudi Arabia and Iran patch up their ties, their strained ties about 3 years ago. So that was a narrower scope because Iran and Saudi, I'm not saying that the task was easy, task was not easy, but Iran and Saudi Arabia, two countries are involved. But here the conflict is much bigger. United States is involved, Gulf countries are involved, Iran is involved, Israel is involved. And some countries, interested countries who want peace, they want to mediate, right?
Yes.
So Pakistan is also doing this, although it is Pakistan's initiative, and Pakistan is being supported by Turkey, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, and others, including China. So my point is that guarantor will be not one power like China or Russia. Guarantor will be a collective guarantee in the sense that you will have this endorsement from the United Nations through a UN Security Council.
Hello?
Yeah.
आवाज़ आ रही सर? हेलो एम्बेसडर साहब? हेलो? मेरा यार एम्बेसडर साहब,
I can hear.
एम्बेसडर साहब की आवाज़ का कोई इशू है, वो आ नहीं रहा है.
International Atomic Energy Agency is involved. They are the one which is the...
Sir, may I interrupt you? Sir, may I interrupt you? So when you are discussing about the UN collective guarantee...
Yes, the Security Council has that mandate. United Nations has that mandate.
We missed your voice from there. We missed your voice from there. There was internet connection issue and we missed your voice from there. If you can, we are sorry, but if you can repeat that, what you were talking about.
No, I said that China may not like to become a sole guarantor
Okay.
of any arrangement. It has to be within the ambit of United Nations Security Council.
Okay.
Because Security Council can give legitimacy and legality to whatever understanding is reached between the warring parties under Chapter 7, so that
Okay.
it is enforceable, so that there is no violation.
Okay, sir. One.
And international, let me 1 minute, one sentence. An International Atomic Energy Agency is the world body, UN body, which is responsible to exercise oversight over the nuclear program of a country like Iran, which is a member of NPT.
Sir, there is another question to you. So, because when you talk about the grantor, can be the UN Security Council or the UN, sir, but who is sure that so USA or Israel will listen to the UN Security Council or the UN, because they are violating, continuously violating? As our ambassador to the UN, Mr. Asam Iftikhar, he was talking about in the Security Council, he said Israel is a violator, and Israel doing it continuously. So
I agree.
So
I agree.
in this
I
context,
agree.
in this context, how somebody can trust the grantee from the UN Security Council or the UN?
If the collective voice of the international community, which is United Nations Security Council, UN, if it cannot guarantee, how can China guarantee peace? So there is no 100% guarantee. But keep in mind, that countries like not only China, they are permanent member of the Security Council, China, Russia, France and Britain, even France and Britain, which are NATO allies of the United States, they are also opposed to war. So they could also join this effort.
Okay, sir. Now I go to the Professor Chaurang. So, Professor, you are listening to Ambassador Khaled. So we were talking about the grantee stuff, as you have one point of view, but Mr. Ambassador Khaled, Mr. Ambassador Khaled has raised another issue, the grantee from the UN. And when he was speaking, you wanted to say add something?
I think one thing which I would like to say from my perspective, I will say very frankly, that nobody can guarantee that it's since President Trump promised something, they will not violate that. Nobody can guarantee that. He always just violate his own promises. So I think for this case, even Security Council, even including all the four permanent members, including Russia, China, France, and Britain, UK, even that cannot guarantee what do we say, President Trump not violate his promise, not violate agreement. Look at the JCPOA. We all know that. JCPOA is a sixth country. What do we say, the
5+1
plus Germany. Then, and I think 11 years ago, everybody just signed their signature. Then something happened again. And 3 years only after, he changed. So for this case, I suppose what China and Pakistan are doing is just make effort, just do our best to stop the war, to make a ceasefire. But we cannot guarantee, and nobody can guarantee that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is not only the matter of the USA, it's also related to the Israel. Because Israel is, you can...
Israel, okay, let me finish that, you see. For mediation, Pakistan now is doing the mediation between United States and Iran. Pakistan can do that. Pakistan is now cannot mediate the war between Israel and Iran because Pakistan is not Israel's friend and does not have diplomatic time, and also Israel may not accept Pakistan as a mediator. So there's also the limit, yes, for Pakistan function as a role of the mediator. Okay.
So when we were talking about this whole peace process, there is a very fundamental question: trust. Who will trust USA or the Israel? That is a very fundamental question. Here we take a break, and we will be discussing it more after the break. वेलकम बैक नाजरीन। तो हम बात कर रहे थे पहले में कि हमारा जो कि एक पूरा प्रोसेस है, जो पीस प्रोसेस, उसमें हम बात कर रहे थे. सो एट द एंड देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन इन दिस होल डिस्कशन. सो इफ USA is not trustworthy, Israel is not trustworthy, of course, and especially when the Mr. Trump has joined as the president, so his trust level of America has gone down. In this context, so how Pakistan can manage this mediation, and where China and Pakistan can also collaborate to ensure that the peace mediation, if it is successful, we are our hope are that the peaceful process will be successful. So how long it would be, and who will give the guarantee, and who will take it seriously? In this context, Ambassador Khalid, you raised the first question, so China should not be the guarantor, it should be the UN. But simultaneously, this is a question, so who trusts USA? That is a big question. You raised this question already. So where peace process is going from here forward? Where is it going? Because when the matter of this, because if you listen to the Iran is again and again saying, we want a surety, so USA and Israel will not attack us again. Sir, Ambassador Khalid.
The point is that war has to come to an end one day, right?
Yes.
It cannot continue indefinitely, and I am sure that President Trump is seeking a safe exit where he can claim victory, number one. So he's looking for that window where he can raise his, two fingers and say, I won.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. He's not getting that window right now. That is why he has decided to, bomb Iran to Stone Age. But my point is that, yes, the trust level is too low, and that is why Iran is asking for, assurance, guarantee that US or Israel will not attack Iran again. There's a fair demand, fair expectation by Iran. But the point is that UN Security Council, when it passes a resolution, it's kind of a moral and political pressure. Okay?
Yes.
And of course, we cannot guarantee. When United States invaded Iraq in 2003, there was no Security Council backing for that kind of action. It was a unilateral action. This one is also unilateral action by the United States. And Israel is pursuing its own agenda of greater Israel in the process, in the garb of this aggression, right? So my point is, you cannot guarantee like that. But then you have to have some kind of legitimacy, some kind of pressure, which has to be brought upon the United States and Israel.
Sir, there is a question which I especially want to ask you.
But of course, there is no 100% guarantee, and I agree with Professor Choron that we cannot trust that. But somehow, we have to reach a point where this hostilities come to an end.
Sir, I want to ask one.
And this is basically an understanding between the warring parties also, between Iran and United States and Israel and the Gulf countries, because this cannot go on. Strait of Hormuz cannot be closed forever.
Yeah.
It's the main artery for international trade and international energy supplies. So
fertilizer, helium, not only energy, but fertilizer.
China become a guarantor, or Russia would become a guarantor, or Pakistan would become a guarantor? We do not know. We cannot.
Sir, I want to ask you one thing. If you look at this at this point of the time, I don't know about the future. At this point of the time, in whole negotiation process, or the mediation process, there is nowhere that we can find a UN or the UN related any agency there. So how can we become part of that? That first question would be that.
No, UN is still deliberate. Even now they are deliberating a resolution of Bahrain, which Bahrain and Gulf countries are trying to bring in the Security Council. So totally UN is marginalized because these big powers, especially United States, does not want UN to become involved. When it has to be because they have the veto power. If they exercise veto, nothing will work, right? So it has to be behind the scene. Diplomacy means that USA has to agree, first of all, to this arrangement that, okay, the war should stop. Once that war stops, once that understanding is there between the United States and other parties, then the Security Council will come into picture. And then they will adopt this resolution with the approval, with the concurrence of the United States.
Okay, sir. So you are still hopeful about that, so the UN can be...
No, I'm not hopeful, but I'm saying this is the way out. There's no hope that way, because I thought that day before
Okay.
yesterday when he made a speech, he would realize, because he was saying, President Trump was saying that we have achieved our objectives. So if you have achieved your objectives, why you are continuing war?
So these are fundamental
But that didn't
questions.
happen, so-
I will come back to you. So now to Professor Chong. Professor Chong, if you look at that is the current situation. So as you raise the question of trust, the question of the trust, but Ambassador Khaled's point of view is very valid, because the UN is a Security Council or the UN system, they can give a guarantee, or they can do something better. So right now, if we look at that, the UN is not that active, because if the Secretary General have to talk, he has to talk to the Foreign Minister of the Pakistan. He is talking to him talk about the mediation. He is not talking to the President Trump or to President of Iran. So in this context, how do you see it will happen so the UN will become more relevant again, because when the UN has been compromised again and again by USA and the Israel?
I think let's say it this way. Since I saw your point of view, it seems that UN is meaningless. It seems that the Pakistan-China mediation is no use. Let me say this way. We cannot guarantee the UN can do something more useful to stop the war. But we can show one thing. Number one is building international consensus for peace. No matter how Trump crazy, insane, how much, you see, the world media gives the more and more pressure on him. International community give more pressure on him. This is number one. Number two is both Pakistan and China has done our best to suspend local military tensions. We have done that because we all know since Iran has already done some attack on UAE, Qatar, as well as Saudi Arabia, and they may have some different idea. They think, oh, Iran will attack us. So it is Pakistan who try to comfort, try to just mediate both Iran and Saudi Arabia and some other countries, not to think this way. And also the China's limitation. I think the most important, the key variable is not from Pakistan, from Iran, and from Saudi Arabia. It's also from America. If it does not change, we can do something which is useful but not be deciding role. We cannot do that. But we, both China and Pakistan, have to make effort because Pakistan is near the war zone. So Pakistan, it is its interest, its moral, its interest, it's a strategic need to do the mediation. China is a balanced power, should do our best to support Pakistan to do so. And also that we can say the initiative is more tool for China. American initiative is more of a tool for China to expand influence in the Middle East. So to that case, sometimes Pakistan may have a deep cooperation to just do what we say for more and more initiative for the peace in the Middle East. On the other hand, China have to have some hesitation because America has a lot of suspicion over China's efforts on the Middle East, the peace agreement.
Okay,
so
Professor.
That is my point.
There is
the time is limited. So
there is a point. So from your discussion, so from Ambassador Khaled, so because you both are hopeful something will happen. So in case if the UN is not able to bring a resolution, because the resolution is still pending from the 2 days, because there are still negotiations are going on, so how to present and where to present. So if UN is unable to do something, are the things become a standstill? So what would be the option for China? Is that discussion is going on in China?
Ambassador Masood, Khalid Masood.
No, you.
Me.
You.
For me.
Yes.
Let's say this way. Yeah. Even though the United States cannot guarantee something, that is Pakistan, China's efforts are still meaningful. The whole world will see what the United States is doing. And of course, it's a key variable because we cannot say the President Trump wants the war or wants the peace. We can hardly just to decide what he wants. But anyway, if the more pressure from the peace side give him, he may just consider a lot. We can hardly say ask United Nations to do something beyond its ability. But anyway, both China, Pakistan, of course, not only we two, but also all the other international community should at this time give the more and more heavy pressure to the Trump and as well as to the United States.
Professor Chow,
he may just consider.
I will come back to you with a question. So when China have the 54% energy is coming from the Middle East, so if the situation goes standstill, so what would be option China have? I will ask you. Now I'm coming back to the Ambassador Khalid. Ambassador, you must have read this story from the Tribune, Express Tribune. They were talking about the vice president of US was about to come to Pakistan, but Iran showed us some restraint not to join. So what do you think? It's a true story? And if it is so, why Iran is showing some concerns?
No, the point is that parties have maximalist positions, They are making maximalist positions so that when the talks start, then there is somewhere they find middle ground for a compromise. United States has also given a 15-point plan. Iran has also given a 5-point plan. So this is basically some of those demands cannot be met by either Iran or by USA, right? But the approach is that whenever the talks start, then they will sort of negotiate on all these points and then find a middle ground. Now, another thing is that UN Security Council cannot move unless the warring parties, unless America says that, okay, I'm prepared to stop the war and go to the UN Security Council and get this resolution adopted, which legalizes the enforcement and the ceasefire, and plus other elements, okay? So first thing is that United States has to agree and persuade Israel to stop also its aggression. So this is the main thing, because they are the aggressors. They have flouted the international law. They have flouted the UN Charter.
Fully agree. Fully agree.
Yeah. As far as China and Pakistan are concerned, we are doing it with good intention for peace, because peace is very important. Peace and stability in this region is very important for Pakistan, for China. So we are doing it with good intention. But basically, whether Iran has refused to join, because Iran has been deceived before, twice. So Iran's leadership has been eliminated. Iran is not sure what will happen in these talks. Maybe their leaders who come for the talks, they can be eliminated, they can be targeted again. So Iran wants cast iron guarantee about the safety of their interlocutors, their negotiators, as well as guarantee that this is going to be the last time, and USA will promise that there will not be any further aggression against Iran and other demands, you see. So it's very complicated. It's not easy. I agree with you. It's a very complex issue now, and it's more than one or two parties. And Israel is a spoiler of everything. Israel wants to continue this war because it wants to weaken Iran to the maximum possible extent so that Iran does not remain a threat to Israel.
Anyway, Iran is not a threat. It's a perception of Israel. And nobody can help anybody to resolve their perception.
I agree with you, but Iran, whatever is the perception, but they are carrying forward, they are working on that assumption. Israel is working on that assumption.
Okay, Professor Chong, as I asked you already, so the 54% of oil energy is coming from Middle East, the Gulf countries for China. If the war continue, the 54% is a very big number. So how China will cope that challenge, and how China will be interfering in the situation to calm down?
I think it's not 54. It's something about the 15%.
No. 11% from 11 to 30% from Iran.
You mean the whole world?
Yeah, whole Gulf region. 14% from
the whole region.
Yes.
I understand that. Yeah, that is really what China worried, because not only Hormuz Strait, but also Manda Strait. You see, they're really worried. So that is China does not agree any kind of the block of the strait. China hopes that is the transportation through the strait can still be smooth. And for this case, China already supported Saudi Arabia, UAE, as well as Qatar for their what we say, their justice demands to smooth that. But China cannot say the Western power to send some more warship over there. China also cannot accept that. But for this case, I suppose Foreign Minister Wang Yi now very frequently just discuss through the phone with Saudi, with Turkey, with even Iranian, and with UAE's foreign minister to discuss, to find a way how to solve the problem, not to block the strait, but also just care about the Iranian concern. We can say one thing, that Iran is fighting for their survival. For this case, they are a little bit desperate. But the United States are also the same. And thank you for inviting me and to having such a meaningful discussion with Ambassador Khalid. And thank you for inviting me to join your program.
If you have 1 minute, I just want to ask one very last question from you. So when the energy wars are going on, the China's green transition can help the world to move away from the fossil fuel and the green energy?
I think that China cannot decide whether the strait is blocked or not. But China should have some other alternative. Of course, you know, China also just got some import from Algeria, from Nigeria, from Angola. And also China have some new energy program.
Yes, so from China Malaysia, Indonesia, and some Sudan.
Indonesia is not a big trade oil importer. But anyway, China will do the best to avoid this kind of risk towards China. But anyway, I suppose the best thing for China to do is to have a more cooperation with Pakistan to solve the war.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chow, for joining us. I know you have to go for your another appointment, and thank you joined us for this program. It's already late night. So, Ambassador Khalid, coming back to you. So now we are approaching towards the end of this program. Sir, if the war continue the way it's going on right now, so how do you see the world economy, including Pakistan? Because Pakistan is also feeling the shock. Yesterday we have an enormous increase in the oil prices, but government tried to settle it down. So Pakistan does not have any option. We cannot criticize the government. How do you see the world will be moving, or the energy crisis will be moving?
I think the implications of this consequences of this war on global economy, on regional economies, will be catastrophic in the long run. After 3 months, after 6 months, even the US economy will feel already the price of the gasoline there is very high, $4 to a gallon. And in American people are cribbing. President Trump's popularity is very low. Regionally, of course, from Gulf, we are getting, Asia is getting up to 80% of its energy supplies. All these big economies, Japan, China, South Korea, and other East Asian economies are dependent on Gulf oil. And we too, of course, Pakistan. Then oil plus LNG. So that's the main thing. Then you talk of fertilizers, you talk of helium, you talk of sulfur, which is also coming. And then if Bab el-Mandab, Suez Canal, that route is also blocked by Houthis or, hypothetically, that means the exports to Europe will also be affected. So it's the main arteries for China's trade. China is the second largest economy of the world. They will be affected. So if this happens, we will have inflation, we will have depression, we will have stagflation in the global economy. And countries like Pakistan will, of course, suffer. Yesterday the government increased the petrol price, but I think that was inevitable. What can we do? We are dependent on the import of, till we switch over to other, means of energy. And we are doing it, we are trying to do it, but it is a time-consuming process. Now, here another thing which I want to say is, unfortunately, there is serious tensions between the Gulf countries, key Gulf countries, and Iran. And Bahrain and UAE are trying to bring up this resolution in the UN Security Council, which is basically calling for use of force to open
the Strait of
the
Hormuz.
Strait of Hormuz. Now that has divided the Security Council, and Pakistan is also a non-member of the Security Council right now. But I think peace process which Pakistan is trying, supported by other countries, including Saudi Arabia and China and others, even Western countries, European Union, you saw the statement of the president. They also supported Pakistan's, facilitation, Pakistan's mediation effort. One thing through which this peace process can be advanced is that the Gulf countries, GCC and Iran together, they announce now that they will not take any action against each other because they are neighbors. They have to live there. They have to coexist.
That is a
with each other.
dream, sir. That is a dream. Everybody is looking to
No,
be
that's
realized.
a dream. But if they are serious in peace, because Gulf countries will also be badly affected.
Yes.
Their dependence is on the export of these energy supplies.
I think that is a wish of everybody. So
Yeah,
that
I know
happened.
that's a wish. But you see, unfortunately, we don't see that kind of statesmanship anywhere these days. We don't see that kind of leadership.
Sir, we have to conclude our program. Otherwise, you have raised a very important question. So, inshallah, in the next program, we will be talking about that, how these Gulf countries and Iran, they can sort out their issues and started to cooperate for the peace. So this was a discussion about this program. I am thankful to the Professor Chaurang, and I am also thankful to Ambassador Masood Khalid for their precious time. So the viewers, the fundamental finding, as we can conclude this program, that let's hope for the peace, because peace is precious and peace is the only way out. The war is not in the interest of anybody. And one more thing we have to keep in mind: with the army, with the weapon, you can win a war. You cannot win the peace, and peace comes through the development. And for development, the economies must be thriving. For that purpose, we have to cooperate. Thank you. See you next week.